Hey everyone, I am so excited to share with you someone who's going to give you tips on how to get testimonials at your speaking events. As a speaker, you know how important that is. We're going to be talking to virtual videographer for coaches, Brighton West. And before we jump into things, I'm Alicia White with Back of the Room Productions, where I help you with your branding and speaking. Basically, I'm the speaking coach you want. Now, back to my exciting guest, Brighton. Oh my gosh, you have already helped me in just the few minutes that we've been talking. I have a light that is now performing well. I have a camera close to me instead of far away. I know you have a ton more tips on how to get testimonials for speakers, so I'm going to let you just dive right in.
Thank you. It's great to be here. And I am a virtual videographer, so the majority of what I do is over a webcam. And I do collect testimonials for coaches and speakers over webcam too. But what I want to talk to you today is probably the more likely scenario for speakers is that you've been speaking and you want to capture the testimonial right then and there. So I'm just going to go through some kind of things that you want to think about in advance to make that happen. So the first thing I think is finding someone to do it for you. That could be, if you've got a videographer taping the event, just say, hey, I also want you to capture testimonials, and just negotiate that. If you don't have that, just find someone else. You as the speaker cannot capture your own testimonials. Typically, there's that mob that comes up to you afterwards and you're answering questions and trying to close business deals and get business cards, and there's a bunch of stuff happening. The last thing you want to think is, oh, I need to put off these people who are really excited about me to go capture some videos. So find someone else to help you with it. It doesn't need to be someone super technical. Ideally it's someone who's curious and comfortable with technology, and I'll go through a couple of things that they'll need. But it's not that hard with today's technology that's probably inside your pocket already, with a couple of additions, to capture testimonials. So I want to talk a little bit about that technology. So almost everyone has a smartphone already, and they have amazing video cameras built in. This is an iPhone 10. I think with the 8, they started putting in this optical stabilization so that, even if you're hand holding it and you're jiggling a little bit, it gets rid of that. So assuming that you've got one of the newer cameras, you can just hold the camera to capture your video. The thing that they aren't so good at is capturing good sound in a crowded room. So I suggest that you buy a lavalier microphone for the person who's speaking. And if you're going to be doing any video, you probably should have one of these anyway. This one is just 15 bucks. A lot of folks suggest a really expensive one, but I can't hear the difference myself. I'll have a link down below for you to see what this one is. And then I like an extension cord on that, because the cord's just never long enough to get a comfortable distance away from someone without it kind of tugging on their shirt. And if you're in the iPhone world, you do need a little thing to plug in. Sorry, Apple got rid of the headphone outlet, but you probably have one of those sitting around anyway. That's your technology. Just plug it in. You're going to just record using the camera app on your phone. You don't have to buy anything special or any special apps. So that's the technology that you'll be using. And with the person who's speaking, just kind of clip this on their shirt, relatively close to their mouth. The idea behind a lavalier microphone is if there's a lot of noise in the room, their voice or their speaker is just a couple inches from this microphone, so it's much louder than the rest of the room. So it's really all about drowning that out by getting the microphone close. So you get much better, and you can have stuff going on in the background, and it'll be there, but it's not going to be as distracting as if you just pushed record on your camera and you captured everything equally. So you've got an assistant. That person should probably look for a place to do this, scout out a location. So thinking about, what does the lighting look like? Oftentimes when we speak, there's overhead lighting that's looking straight down, and you get really dark eyes. So I like to walk around the room and try to find a spot, maybe with another person, and kind of position them somewhere and say like, oh, okay, this is a spot where maybe there's light coming in from a window, or it's a table lamp or something that lights up their face, but choose a spot ahead of time. That's a comfortable spot for folks. Ideally, you can see the activity going on in the background, so they're not just up against a wall, but maybe all the hubbub of, the post-speaking hubbub is going on in the background. But we want to make sure, most important is that the light is shining on their face.
That's a great tip about having the people behind you. And you've mentioned quite a bit about the technology side of things, and I'm comfortable with it, and other people may not be. Do you have a tip on how you can gain confidence on using the video camera?
Yeah, I think I'm a big fan of Facebook. I'm really not a big fan of Facebook, but I'm a big fan of using Facebook as a test ground for getting comfortable with technology. So you can go ahead and use your camera, tape your kids, tape your spouse, tape your dog, and just post that for your friends on Facebook. This isn't for your Facebook page and all professional, but it's a great way to get comfortable with this in a very, kind of a soft landing type of place. Your grandmother's not going to complain about, something being less than perfect, but you'll get used to using the technology. Now, on the other side of the camera are people who aren't so super excited about being recorded. So a couple tips for them. One of them is, that you could ask from the stage. So if you've got a professional videographer, you probably don't need to ask from the stage. Work that out with them, because they will, that's what they do. They will know how to approach people and get that set. But if you've got, just someone, a volunteer from the audience, just say, hey, Joe volunteered and he can help you give a testimonial. So, please, if you got a lot out of this, it's very meaningful for me. Please talk with Joe. And then Joe can work around and find people to get testimonials. So prepping them, though, that's coming is usually a good thing. And then really the one thing in terms of what they should do is they need to look at the camera. That's the biggest mistake I see people making is, they'll have the camera here and they'll be looking at me off camera and it just looks a little funny. When you're doing testimonials, it's not like a 2020 interview where you've got, this camera set off camera and whatnot. It's best to look at the lens. So just point to it and say, this is where you look. And give people some direction, and that's what makes them feel more comfortable as they're told what to do. And in terms of the questions to ask, I think really most important is just that your person who's shooting the video be curious. I always start with what's their name and what's their business, because everyone knows that. It's a great first question. Usually as an editor, I throw that away, but it helps me to know who they were if I need to put their name on, and it also just helps them get started. And then it's really just being curious, asking questions about, what's their biggest takeaway? What will they do differently now that they've heard this person speak? What was unexpected about this speaker? How did this speaker make them feel? So it's just really kind of asking questions and kind of flowing through it, but usually having a number of questions in the back of your mind just in case it starts to, you're not really getting something. Just keep asking questions and ask them to answer very succinctly. Tell them you want, 5-second answers. If you ask for 5 seconds, they'll give you 15 seconds, and that's probably okay. But if you don't give them a time range, they'll talk easily for a minute or two, and then that's kind of hard to edit into something at the end.
Well, guys, if you're listening, that was a lot of information in a short amount of time. But again, ask the person who's giving the testimonial to look into the camera eye on your phone. Ask them to be succinct. Ask them these. I love how you said, Brighton, be curious. Ask questions that be curious. Their name first, their company name, and then what did you feel when you heard the speaker? I love the questions you just said, and that's great stuff. What are you going to take home and learn? What did you learn and you're going to take home and utilize? That's good information.
Thank you. So the one last thing that I want to say is that getting the video edited is probably something you want to do. And if you've got a videographer that you work with, that you're working with, they'll do the editing for you. But I want to put in a plug for something called Fiverr. If you're not familiar with Fiverr, it's fiverr.com. And it's a great place to just dip your toe in the water of kind of anything. If you're, no matter what you're doing, they'll have someone who's willing to do it cheap for your first time, just kind of like get your feet wet in something. So you can go on to fiverr.com. I'll have a link down below too. And look for a video editor, and you'll be paying, for one video, you might be paying $25 to $50, which is a really, really good rate for video editing. But they'll be able to take what you put together and cut out kind of the questions you're asking, and kind of make it flow together and feel, really good and very professional. So you're able to take something that you did very authentically on your camera and turn it into something professional, and that helps other people to decide if they want to hear you speak, or probably more importantly, decide if they want to hire you or bring you in to speak to their crowd. I mean, that's really a lot of what we're looking for here, is to have the organizers of an event invite you in, and they want to see the testimonials. They want to see you speaking from stage. They also want to see how people are affected by your testimonials. And that's why those why questions and that how did it make you feel are so important.
I think that's an excellent point, in that not only do you need video to showcase how you speak on stage, how you present on stage, but having the testimonial videos are so important for speech organizers, the event host. One thing that is really cool about getting a video testimonial that I want to mention is that once you have the video, you can also use Fiverr, fiverr.com, to have someone transcribe the words that the person is saying. And now you have two forms of communication on a testimonial. Guys, you know how hard it is to ask someone to give you a written testimonial. So at the event, get a video testimonial, ask for the people to volunteer to do that, prepare them that you're going to ask for people to give testimonials, do it with people in the background, have a volunteer to take the video for you, because you are going to be busy with other people. And I've got another point I'd like to make, Brighton, that you might have experienced. I was a speaker on day 2 of a 3-day conference, and everybody there said, yes, I'll give you a video testimonial. I'll give you a video testimonial. But we never had time to do it. And it was the last day of the conference.
Yep.
And half the people that said they were going to give testimonials were gone. The other half were breaking down their own tables. We were rushed. I had, I think, 3 people give testimonials. But, one guy's trying to catch a plane back to the UK. And don't miss the opportunity to get your testimonials right away. Can you provide a little bit more insight on that?
I think it is right away afterwards. That's why you have to, get a volunteer, recruit someone to help you with this, because afterwards is the point where they're most excited, where they remember best. Ideally, the volunteer's been in there listening to you too, so that they can help guide the person. And they're like, well, if they're getting stuck, they might say, well, what do you think about the point that she said about this? And then that'll help them remember. Just get it right away. And if someone says they'll do it for you later, say, okay, thanks, and go to the next person and go directly to the next person, because don't plan on getting it later. Just plan on, kind of bless and release, say, okay, that's not going to work. Let me get a different one, and try to capture. I mean, at least 3 is a great number to shoot for. More is better.
Well, is there any other information you'd like for us to know? Like, how can we reach you? What do you love doing with your clients? What's most fun for you guys when you work together?
One of the things that's really fun is capturing testimonials. So I do this if you happen to skip that step on site and you still want testimonials from people. We can work together. I will capture them while they're at home and kind of walk them through everything that I walked you through. Look at the camera and no distractions in the background, and get everything set up and ask them those questions and capture it so that you can have a video testimonial. So that's one of the things I really enjoy doing. But really, I'm a virtual videographer for coaches. So I capture everything via webcam. I doesn't matter where in the world I am. This week I'm in San Diego. Next week I'm in Portland. So it's just, yeah, I just like connecting, especially with coaches, and a lot of speakers are coaches and their clients, because those people have gone through a transformation and they feel really good about that. And so they're willing to share their story of how they transformed, because, you know, people who have that transformation want other people to do it too. And that's the whole world of coaching. So I really do enjoy meeting people and hearing their stories, because they're very inspirational. That's kind of how I designed my business. I wanted that inspiration. So yeah, but if you want, you can go to brightonwestvideo.com and you can see the testimonial packages called Raving Fans. So you'll see that on the homepage.
Brighton, you brought up a good point. You don't have to give video testimonials for just speaking, but for your clients too. You're helping people, and you want prospects, other people, to know how the clients you've worked with have benefited from your value and your service. So make sure you take a look at Brighton's website, and which is down below. And Brighton, if there's not anything else, I think we'll close. Do you have anything else? We're good to go?
No, I think we're good to go, but thank you for having me on your channel today. And well, let's mention this, that we are actually exchanging videos. You can find Alicia over on my channel, and I'm going to wrap up your video if that's okay. You can find Alicia on my channel by clicking the button over here, or you can find more videos from Alicia up here. Thanks for watching.